Hello, Trike Patrol fans. Once again, we are back. Thank you for tuning in to the official Trike Patrol podcast, and it's your host, Mr. C. So hope everyone is doing really well. Hope everyone enjoyed the long Labor Day weekend. Finally starting to heat up, as I mentioned before. So hope everyone's been enjoying all the most recent podcast specials. So for this podcast interview, I'm super excited. I recently interviewed the beautiful Bunny Fhae. Shout out to her. Shout out to her agent who got this lined up, Mr. Connor over at Cox Models, and just shout out to Bunny Fhae. It was an amazing interview. I enjoyed every second of it. There's just some interviews when I interview these models and they're just so amazing to interview. I mean, you really enjoy every second of it. I mean, we could have went at least an hour easily, but I was looking at the time and, we hit 45 minutes. I'm like, okay, you know what? I want to be a little respectful of her time, but, she did say that she didn't mind if we did go over, but, always respect others' times or time because, time is money and time is precious. So before we get into this week's interview, let's talk a little bit about content that's coming and that has been dropped recently here at our Globetrotters sites. So first, let's talk a little bit about ASD. Again, I always say you got a variety of content that's shot all over Asia. There's some American scenes, there's some European scenes, but mostly it's like, I want to say 85 to 90% Asian. A shitload of content that's been shot all over Indonesia, such as Bandung, Batam, Jakarta, and then you got scenes coming out of Cambodia. You have scenes coming from, I think there's a scene or two from mainland China, if I'm not mistaken. There's a shitload of content that's been shot over in Hong Kong, and of course, I want to say of the Asian content, probably I want to say a good percent, maybe 40% is Thai from Pattaya in Thailand. And of course, there's a shitload of content over at ASC that has been shot in Angeles City. So great site. I highly recommend it. Thousands of scenes. So, if you become a member, you'll spend plenty of time checking out all the hot content over at ASD. So here at TP, the most recent update was of Yuri. Another great scene. I enjoyed it myself. Great pickup. Before that, we dropped a scene with Lena Violet. As you guys know, she's been on the site before. She did her first TP shoot probably, I want to say 2019, around that time. It wasn't that long ago, but I mean, we are in 2025. So yeah, but it was great to have her back. I mean, I honestly love Lena Violet. Great model, great Filipina from out here in the States. Shout out to our buddy Chuck who got this shot. So our next scene that drops, I hope by the time you guys listen to this, it's going to be before September 12th. The reason I say that is because on September 12th, we drop a scene with Mary Gold, a stunning, beautiful 18-year-old. I think the last time I said this might be the scene of the year was probably back with Snow Baza. Great scene, just a beautiful Asian doll. Now, Marigold, she's right up there. So it's probably going to be between her and Snow Baza for the top scene of 2025. And we're just dropping fire here at TrikePatrol.com. So please become a member. With that being said, looks like we do have Snow Baza coming back. I'm looking at the tracker, so it's going to be a great scene. I don't want to get too far down the road, but we have content for days. A lot of great scenes are dropping here at TP. Once again, it's another great year here at TrikePatrol.com over at TTP on the 8th. So by the time you guys hear this, it's going to be after the 8th. So just this last Monday was a scene with Sum Tam. Great model. All I've seen so far is just the model on the next patrol in the site in the member section. So she was a stunning Thai babe. So I'm sure it's a great scene. I mean, just a hot Thai alone wins it, right? So most recent scene before that was Nonoi. If you like petite Thai babes, this is definitely one for you. She's probably like 4'10", probably 90 pounds, joyful, just always had a smile on her face until she was getting completely plowed in her Thai twat. So great scene. Before that was Fern, Cinderella. So of the last couple of months, I want to say probably my favorite scene is going to be Cinderella. Just huge Thai tits. I mean, there's a lot of big Thai tits in Thailand, but this one is all natural. I believe they are all natural because I think we could tell the difference, right? So great model, great tits, great scene. Over at MILF Trip, the most recent scene was a great one. Andy Avalon. I've enjoyed it myself. She's a typical stepmom looking blonde, very beautiful, very kinky, just great to watch on film. So the next scene is going to be Kate Dahlia or Dalia. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. As you guys know, I speak two different languages, so if this was Tagalog, it would probably be Dalia. But I think in English, we would probably say Dahlia. I'm not really sure. But I'm looking at her Twitter right now, just a stunning. She's one of those white girls that kind of has that European look to her. The kind of chick that you would definitely see on like FHM or Playboy, on the Playboy cover. She's that kind of chick. Dirty blonde, I want to say. Just stunning, beautiful. I can't wait to see this scene. I'm not sure if she's American. She might be rather new. I'm not sure, but from what I'm seeing here on Twitter slash X, I mean, I can't wait for this thing to drop because I can't wait to watch her. So I might have to do a little more research on her after this podcast special. Um, so over at ESD, as I always gotta say, all the hottest European babes. If you love Europeans, ESD is going to be the site for you. And if it's your thing, please check out helloladyboy.com for all the hottest ladyboys on the web. So I hope you guys enjoy this interview. I mean, like I said, I enjoyed every second of it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this interview with Bunny Fhae. Again, probably one of my most favorite interviews that I've ever done. She was just great on the mic, great to interview, fun to interview, and I enjoyed every second of it. So thank you for tuning into the official Trike Patrol podcast. And it's your host, Mr. C. All right, TP fans. So once again, we have a very special guest with us here today. We have Miss Bunny Fhae. Hello, Bunny. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. First off, thank you for spending your Friday night with us. I'm super excited to talk to you.
Of course. I'm so happy to be here.
So the one of the biggest questions I think people have for porn stars like yourself is, how did you get into this business? Do you mind sharing your story?
Yeah, I don't mind at all. So originally, about 5 years ago, I started shooting fetish and girl girl and stuff like that. I was, however, still working corporate jobs. So I did have a full-time job. And at that full-time job, I met a performer, G.I. Joey, and I worked at T-Mobile in sales, and I sold him a phone, and he was like, "Well, if you ever want a career in porn, you should let me know." And hi, yes, thank you. And and so it took about a year, and then I was
Uh,
like, you know what? I think that this is where I'm heading towards. And so that's when I made the jump, November of 2023.
oh, very interesting that you mentioned that you got into the business because of GI. What's his name again?
GI Joey. It's
G.I. Joey,
definitely,
yeah. And I
it's a
know
fun
exactly who
one.
you're talking about because
Yeah.
he has a bunch of followers on X, right? And
Yeah.
ex-military veteran. So yeah, that's very, very interesting. So
Yeah.
when you were working your corporate job, you said you were already doing like customs and such and GG scenes?
Yeah, I was doing like girl girl work, and then I did a lot of like fetish work. I worked with some fetish companies and stuff like that. I was like a nude model, I cammed. So I did a little bit of everything in terms of content creation, but I was like working with different studios and stuff in terms of fetish.
Okay. Now, when did you decide to like start doing like nude content or, adult content?
So I don't know. I grew up kind of like in a nude household. So being naked was never anything that was weird to me.
Uh-huh.
And when I was 18, I wanted to be a suicide girl, as every tattooed 18-year-old wants to, you know.
Uh-huh.
So I started reaching out to photographers and getting pictures from them. And then I realized that the system that suicide girls had wasn't a system I wanted to follow into. So I started camming from there. And then it
Okay.
was like a couple years after that is when I started shooting fetish.
So I'm pretty sure because my next question was gonna be when you made the decision to start doing adult content, like were you feeling excited or nervous? And I'm pretty sure you weren't too nervous, right? Because you already kind of were doing
I was still super
still had the
nervous.
butterflies a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like it's very different when you're doing shorter clips.
Yeah.
So a lot of fetish stuff is like maybe like 5 to 15 minute clips at a time. So you get more of a break. And then going from that to my first pro scene, which was Bang Bus, was super crazy to me because I was like, oh my God, there's no break. And it's
Yeah.
really hot and there's no AC. And I have to have sex here on like the floor of a bus. while it's moving. So I was definitely really nervous. I'm lucky I had a really awesome co-star and I was able to kind of connect with him a little before actually shooting because the biggest thing that made me nervous was just going in and then like not even having a conversation with someone and then having to have sex with them on camera.
And look
Like,
like how you're supposed to on camera, right?
yeah, there needs to be chemistry in
Yeah.
some way, like friendliness, like something for me to be able to be like, okay, I can truly give this like my best performance.
Yeah, and like you said, like I've told everyone, I've said it many times here on the podcast, when we're producing scenes, it's very, very important for everyone to have that chemistry because it's going to create a great product, you know? If
Yeah, chemistry is super important. It's something that's not as valued, I think, as it could be, but when there's really good chemistry, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, and everyone's having fun and it just, you know, it's a
Oh
great
yeah.
outcome. So I'm curious, where did you grow up?
Grew up in Tampa, Florida. I was born here, but I kind of grew up everywhere. I would say Tampa's like home base because I've been here for the last 10 years. But I lived in Georgia, I lived in New York, Wisconsin, Minnesota. So like I moved around a lot growing up. Um, but I always come back. I always come back to Florida. So Tampa for sure.
Because it's really interesting. Because I've talked to a couple performers that like came from like the real small town America,
Yeah.
and you know they end up, you know, getting into the industry and they go to places like LA, and it's just kind of a culture shock for them. It's not your small town anymore, you know.
Yeah, I can imagine. I lived in a small town in Minnesota. I lived in Wabasha for a very small period of time. And it was a culture shock to me coming from a place where there's a lot of people to a place where everybody knows everyone and knows your family and everything. Like they know, everyone in town knows what you had for breakfast that day. And that's like the best way I could say it, like there
Yeah,
were no secrets. You had no privacy.
yeah. I'm sure time goes by a lot slower in the small town, right?
Yeah, absolutely. When there's nothing to do, it it can definitely be very long days.
Yeah, yeah. So, what was life like, you know, when you got into now that you're in the industry, were you ever worried about, you know, your friends and family knowing, or maybe your local banker? Because personally, from experience, it's like, you know, I do what I do. Obviously, I work also in porn. So it's kind of like, well, you know, throughout my day, a couple times it pops in my head, like, I wonder if this person, you know, what if this person knew what I do? How would they judge me, or, you know? So what's your feelings on this?
In terms of friends and family, I never really felt nervous about them knowing. My mom is like my biggest supporter. She lets everybody know what I do, and she makes all of her friends support me however they can.
Subscribe to that
Um,
OF.
Yeah, right. Like she goes out and she likes to be outside. So she goes out and she wears my little team ski jacket like every now and then. And she's like, my daughter shot for them. You should check her out. And I'm like, oh my God. Sometimes when I'm with her, it's a little embarrassing because I like to be very low key when I go out because I don't
Uh,
go out often. So I don't, it's not necessarily that I don't want people knowing what I do. It's just that, like, there's a lot of conversation
yeah.
that can be avoided that comes with people knowing.
Yeah.
And I can't avoid that when I'm out with her. So
Well, because there's
that's,
sometimes, you know, like we could be at the bar, and I've been at the bar many times where I, you know, for some reason I mentioned what I do and you know this podcast and all the other stuff I do, and they felt and some of these guys, you know, how guys are, they're like, whoa,
yeah.
you really do that? Like they kind of treat you like a celebrity for a minute or two, which is
Yeah,
nice,
it's
but you know,
super weird. It's
yeah,
so weird.
yeah. Because I mean, I guess if we weren't in porn, right, and we met somebody that was in porn, we would probably be like, wow, that's kind of cool, right?
Yeah, I mean, I actually, before I started shooting mainstream or anything, like back when I was just doing mostly my content and fetish stuff, I met someone who's a pretty popular porn performer. And I don't know, I'm very big on treating everyone like a normal person
Yeah,
because I can only imagine like so many people being starstruck in a day is going to make you like feel a little
yeah.
less like a normal person.
Uh-huh.
So I actually connected with her super well. She was great. We hung out, like we still keep in touch, and this was forever ago, or what it feels like at least. So it's I don't know. I get that though. Like a lot of people find out what I do and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I bet you're so popular." Like, "Wow, my God, and you shot for these people and you worked with this person." And I'm like, "Yeah, we're all just people."
Yeah.
Like just people
Yeah.
having sex.
Yeah, I get it though. You know, this job, this line of work isn't your most ordinary 9 to 5 type of work, and you know,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
so speaking of work, what's your favorite type of scene to shoot? Do you like rough? Do you like it romantic? Do you like it soft? Do you like being the stepmom? Well, not yet. Obviously, I don't know.
Yeah.
What are you, 21, 22,
I'm 25.
25? So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think you qualify to be stepmom yet. Maybe in another 5 years, perhaps, or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I've been told I may never reach stepmom status because I'm 4'10". So I'm looked at as a small girl always.
Uh-huh.
Um, but in terms of like favorite scene, I like rough sex, so I'm gonna prefer a more hardcore scene. But back to like chemistry and things like that, I would like a perfect scene for me would be being able to do something like that with someone I've already shot with before,
Uh-huh.
because there's kind of that rapport, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I know I'm in a good place. I know I'm with good people. Like, this is gonna be a fun time. I get to kind of let myself go a little bit. I'm not as in my head, you know?
Uh, yeah, yeah, I agree. Now, when we're talking to the typical person outside of porn, they know hardcore, right? Now
Yeah.
we're talking rough now. So how would you define rough let's say you
Um,
see rough on a script, when we see scripts, right? It says rough. What are we expecting?
I don't know. For me, rough is kind of like being treated like a rag doll. Like
Uh-huh.
I'm put where I need to be put. Um, I did Don't Break Me for Mofos. That was like one of my first 10 scenes.
Uh-huh.
Super awesome. Loved
The
it.
title alone kind of says it all. Don't break me.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, I had so much fun. It was very much like he put me where he wanted me to be. It was like very like rough in terms of like I got smacked around a little. Like I was a human rag doll, which is awesome because I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, like I don't know. My favorite thing about sex is like I don't know. I feel like I get to be like their personal pocket pussy. Like that's so cool. I'm
Oh,
like, yeah, use me to get off.
there you go. It's funny because I've talked to a lot of models and I asked this exact question. A lot of them say they want rough sex. They prefer rough sex.
Yeah, absolutely. I know a lot of girls like it like that, and I get that a lot in my personal life. So that's where the like pocket pussy comes in, is where I'm like, oh, I don't have to think. I get to just be fucked,
Oh,
and
there you
that's
go.
awesome.
Yeah. There's no thought. Just lay there, just do what you got to do and
Yeah,
get
right?
completely railed.
Yeah, it's the best.
So, as you mentioned, I also, before we did this podcast, when I talked to your agent, Connor,
Mhm.
and I looked you up and I followed you on Instagram. So I believe you followed back. So thank you.
Yeah, of course, of
So
course.
I like to kind of like, look at the social medias of, those that I'm about to interview, just so I can learn a little bit, not too much, because I still want to learn some during the interview. But I saw you shot with big studios and you shared earlier, such as I think you did Team Skid already and such. So, and you mentioned you did like, some fetish scenes on your own and whatnot. So comparing like the big studio shoots compared to doing something at home or with another performers, like a simple BG with like one or two other people on set, what do you prefer? Do you prefer shooting like with the big studios or just kind of like a one to two, three cast kind of thing?
I don't know. That's a really good question because I've shot for welcome back, Kat. I've shot for bigger studios where it's one director and one person filming. And I've had that experience shooting for Team Skeet. I've also had like for Dancing Bear, there were so many people there.
Dancing
The
Bear. Oh,
production
yeah, yeah.
was huge. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So I did that January of last year. But that was crazy. There were like 30 people on set. It was very overwhelming. So I
Uh-huh.
definitely think I'd prefer like less people. I do like for it to be more than one.
Uh-huh.
I like for there to be somebody like at least two or three people so there's someone to keep everyone else on, like in check. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
That way it doesn't get weird, nobody feels uncomfortable, and there's someone like really truly following code of compliance.
Exactly. Yeah. And like you said, I don't think a lot of people listening at home know that you need somebody on set to kind of manage and kind of look at over the entire shoot, right?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely. I
things could get
feel
out of
way
hand,
more
of
towards
course,
that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So what do you think people misunderstand most about being a porn star?
They think it's easy money.
Yeah.
It's not easy money. It's a major investment in yourself. Um, Even taking the jump to be in this industry prior to, I guess, being what you'd consider a porn star,
Uh-huh.
I spent a lot of money on testing for shoots that never happened, and I had to start to figure out like how to carry myself in a different industry and what the standards of everything are and the way people operate. It's very different, and because it's not a normal job,
Yeah.
everything is very specific, and a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions that like, oh, I could just do porn and like make $1 million, like it's super easy. I'm like, no, it is exhausting. There's a lot of traveling involved.
Oh yeah.
You like still to this day, I get tested regularly every 2 weeks, regardless of if I'm booked or not. And with that, like there are there's 2 week spans where sometimes I'm not booked at all. And
Uh-huh.
it's like, oh, well, I wasted 230 on a test, but like it's an investment in myself because it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, if something comes up, I have it. I'm prepared. I'm ready to go. You
Yeah.
know. So it can be a lot to like make that jump, but I hate the misconception that it's like I can just make an OnlyFans and make $1 million and do nothing all day. And I'm like, it's not that easy. It's
Yeah,
not that
well,
easy.
for one, I think people need to know that just because you have an OnlyFans account doesn't mean you're gonna get rich or
Yeah.
especially rich overnight. And yeah, so thanks for sharing that you learned how to carry yourself because you're right because anybody, let's say somebody new gets into the industry, especially like a male talent, right? And they come on set, they say the wrong thing, they do the wrong thing, and it could become a huge problem, right?
Yeah, 100%. I've dealt with that. I've also dealt with the way that people act offset. I feel like anytime I'm in a situation where I'm around like work people, like work friends, or even at a work event like XBiz or Exotica or something like that, I'm always carrying myself with a standard of like,
Uh,
okay, I'm representing myself as Bunny Fhae, you know?
yeah.
So for me, I am always very careful about like what I say, the tone I use in my voice, because sometimes I forget. I may come off a little like a little sassy, you
Uh,
know? So I've come across a lot of people, especially like newer guys, as you were saying, that don't know how to carry themselves offset, and then it kind of ruins it for everyone because then it's like, okay, well, now nobody's comfortable with working with you because you act kind of crazy when you're not working.
yep.
Like
Yep.
it can't be Jekyll and Hyde. Like you have to really stick to how you want to represent yourself and stay that way 100%.
And you're right because this is rather smaller industry. Everyone kind of knows everyone. So, when the word
Yeah.
gets out that you're being a jackass or something, you might have issues getting bookings or getting collabs with other models. So, yeah, you're
Yeah,
right about that.
reputation is everything. If you ruin your reputation, that's kind of it. Like you can rebrand sometimes, but at a certain point, like apologies only do so much, you know? And I know a lot of people in the industry are very forgiving and like kind, and we're like, oh, okay, well, maybe you had a bad day, or maybe you just, you weren't, your head wasn't in it. And then after a certain point, it's like, okay, like this is a character flaw, and like I don't want to be associated with you,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
professionally.
And the thing too is like this isn't like a normal, job at Google where, we're just in an office. Like everyone has social media, everyone
Yeah,
has followers. So if somebody has an issue and shares it online, it could just blow up, right? And everyone sees
yeah,
it, everyone learns about it.
100%. Yeah. That's also why it's so important to make sure you're not spreading like misinformation,
Yeah.
because sometimes people will manifest scenarios in their head that don't exist. And then they'll go on the internet expecting validation, and then they'll be like, oh my God, like, why does everybody hate me? And it's like, well, like, I've seen a lot of people just make shit up, like,
Yeah.
completely make shit up. And I'm like, I don't understand why, like, why feed into drama? You know what I mean? And I'm very anti that. So if
Yeah.
I have an issue with someone, you'll never see me make a post about it. I will simply block them and move on. Like, I don't even like to be thought of as somebody who's gonna like Twitter fingers, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like I'm gonna go and I'm gonna tell the internet about you. Like, no, I'm okay.
That's the right mindset just to block and move on because I'm kind of learning that myself because as you know there's a lot of trolls on
Yeah,
Instagram and Twitter isn't too bad or X but I'm kind of learning just to block, move on. Just don't let it ruin my day. They can say whatever they want to say. At the end of
yeah.
the day, it doesn't matter. They're not paying the bills, right? They're not signing up. They're not paying for the brand. They're not paying for the content or whatever. So that's a really nice mindset you have there.
Thank you. I mean, yeah, I've dealt with some hate, and every time somebody like tries to be hateful towards me, I'm like, you're boosting my engagement, and you
Yes,
look like a fan.
exactly. Keep
So
commenting, right?
I'm not. I'm gonna let you do your thing, dude, because you just look a little silly coming on my page to say something mean about me.
Yeah,
When
I've
like,
seen I've seen some crazy stuff. I'm sure you have too.
yeah, yeah, everybody who wants to have an opinion that matters.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's say you're on set for 8 hours and you had a great day, you're a little tired. What would you do to unwind after a long shoot day?
Fat burger. I'm
Fat
gonna eat.
burger.
I'm gonna eat a fat burger. I have to. It's almost like it's either that or like a really beefy burrito. Like I grub. Like
Uh-huh.
especially when you're on set for so long, like
Yeah.
8 hours. Like there aren't people who even work 9 to 5s that go 8 hours without eating, and a lot of us
Yeah.
do. Especially girls, because like we don't want to look bloated and like we
Uh-huh.
don't want to have stuff in our mouth or whatever. So we don't eat. We just drink water. So the first thing I do is I eat, I roll a joint,
There you
and
go.
then I smoke and chill out. Like that's really it. I stay home
Yeah, when you
essentially.
when you said Fat Burger, do you mean the brand Fat Burger or
Oh
just
no,
oh
just
in
a
general?
big old burger.
Okay, I was gonna say it's a Fat Burger is kind of a
I
thing here on
didn't.
the West Coast. I don't know if you ever
Oh,
heard
I
of
don't
it.
know. Yeah, I bet it's good. I
Oh,
bet
it's
it's.
it's amazing. If ever you're back, if you're in LA, check it out. I promise you will love
Yeah.
it. So, do you ever watch your own scenes?
Um, Sometimes when I have fans, I feel like it's a little weird, like to
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
myself, you
Uh-huh.
know. But like in terms of content, like when I'm editing my content, I have to watch myself, or if my fans are like, "Oh my gosh, I like how you did this in this scene." And then like it's a whole day of shooting, so I'm like, "Man, I don't even remember what you're talking
Yeah.
about." Like I'm very grateful, thank you, but like I have no idea, so I'll go back and I'll be like, "Oh, that's what they liked. Like, cool, cool. I'll do more of that."
Uh-huh.
But if in terms of like my own pleasure, not really. I'm very critical of myself. So I don't really like watch my own content out of pleasure. I'm like, I could do that better next time.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, it's like a lot of people don't even like listening to themselves.
I hate it. I hate having to hear myself moan because I hear it when it comes out of my mouth,
Uh-huh.
but then hearing it again on the other end, I'm like, oh, like it makes me cringe a little. Like, oh.
Yeah, yeah. Now it has you thinking like, am I supposed to moan a little differently next set, or
Yeah,
next
right. I'm
scene?
like, oh, like that sounded rough. But like, I don't know. I don't fake moan.
Yeah.
So if it sucks, like I'm probably gonna be like, hey, like we have to cut, like we need to figure something out because you're making it hard for me to perform.
Yeah.
And sometimes it like there have been times where it sucks, where it's just like painful and it's like, uncomfortable, and then you're like you don't even want to moan because you know it's going to sound bad and like
Uh-huh.
it looks bad, it
Yeah.
feels bad. So I definitely, yeah.
So let's say you were a producer, let's say Trike Patrol, let's say we said, "Hey, Bunny, we want you to put together a scene." All right?
Okay.
What kind of script would you write and or what kind of theme or what would you request from the talents and are there any specific male and female talents you would pick for this scene? Let's just say, we're asking you to give us the best possible scene ever. Well, what would you do?
Man, well, I do write scripts.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. Yeah, I write them either for my own content or I sell them. So I write a lot of taboo scripts because I shoot a lot of taboo porn.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. I have a script that I wrote that I haven't used that nobody's gotten from me.
Well, maybe
But
don't share it because we don't want anyone taking your script,
no, that's
idea.
okay. It's not anything too original, so it's
There's
fine.
nothing original anymore in porn. Everyone,
Yeah,
if you think it's like we did this scene not too long ago for MILF Trip for one of our sites, and I said I saw this Love Cloud Vegas thing in Vegas, so I said let's go shoot a scene on a plane, and then after it got produced and shot, I was browsing and I found out somebody else already did it. So I'm like, well, I thought I had the $1 million idea. So yeah, it's like a
yeah.
recipe. If you think you made a
Everybody
recipe, no,
wants
yeah,
everybody wants to have that idea that's just like so phenomenal, but
uh-huh.
like there's so much porn.
Oh,
People are
this,
so
yeah, porn has
creative.
been around forever. It's been
Yeah,
shot already.
absolutely. So my concept was it would be a boy, girl, girl. And it
Okay.
would be like stepsister, boyfriend, or stepsister, stepbrother, and then the girlfriend.
Okay.
So like they're coming in from school, blah blah blah. Nobody's home. They're not supposed to be there. He doesn't know that his stepsister is home because she had like a doctor's appointment or something. And then she's a narc, so she's gonna go and tell on him. And then his girlfriend's like, "No, we can figure it out. Like we're gonna make it work."
Uh,
So I have it broken up actually into like a couple of different settings. So it'd be like living room entrance coming in and then them encountering like maybe in the living room or kitchen and then sex intros like bedroom just because it's always more comfortable in a bedroom.
yeah.
Um God, in terms of who I'd like who I'd want to be a part of a scene like that, Such a good question. I know so many awesome performers. But honestly, love Selena Benz. Love her. She's an angel. I've shot a few scenes with her, and she's such a good person inside and out, on and off set. Amazing. I would love to have her in for that.
Nice choice.
Um, yeah, I phenomenal. Jody Johnson, he makes a phenomenal step bro. He's also a good friend of mine. And then I think for the other girl, for the girlfriend, I would want it to be someone who's like more promiscuous, like someone who's more, I guess, extroverted, like inviting. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? Um, I would have to say, I don't know. I would probably either do maybe, I don't know. I don't know.
There's so many
I was
options, right?
thinking, yeah, I'm just trying to think because it's like, I don't know, Jodie's like classic step bro, and then Selena would do better in terms of like step sis because they
Uh-huh.
have a very classic look. They're very normal. Like they're beautiful people, but they're very normal people. Which I love for scenes like that because it's like, okay, you want the instigator to be someone who kind of stands out. I would say someone that stands out to me would probably be, I don't know. I think I would love the idea of like Nolly Marie for a scene like that because she's gorgeous, pink hair. She's in general a very horny girl. So her being an instigator in that situation would be perfect for her because she normally is the instigator. So
Uh-huh.
she would fit right in for that. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Like I know they make it happen and they make it amazing however they did it, but in terms of like truly producing it and doing it myself, I don't know if I'd be able to like take on a producer role. I do like to direct. I like to tell people what to do
Yeah, yeah.
because I'm a little bossy, but not actually. But I like the idea of creating what I see in my head in real life, and I don't necessarily need to perform in it. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? I like the idea of like I don't know, like treating people like Barbie dolls. When I'm on set, that's how I feel. Is
Uh-huh.
it's like, okay, you're in this position for this amount of time, you're doing this. We need you to look like this. We need you to pay attention, either look at the camera, don't look at the camera, do this, do that. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm good at following direction, and I know the people I listed are definitely good at following direction as well. So I feel like they would, I don't know, they'd make a great scene for me.
Well, I think one day you could become one great producer.
Oh, I
Your
hope
script was
so.
amazing. I was kind of, as you were kind of describing, it was kind of playing in my head, like literally.
Right? I'm an imaginative person.
Uh,
So when I write scripts, I'm like trying to think out like what the set looks like
yeah.
and like how I would want everybody's role to be and what I feel like the vibe and the energy like each person should be bringing to the scene.
Yeah.
And since I perform mostly, I am always thinking of that for myself. Is like I'm reading over the script and I'm like, okay, so this is how they want it to be. And then I'll always double check with the director and I'm like, okay, so you want it like this, like exactly like this. Is there anything I should change? Okay, perfect, good to go. And then we follow through. So,
Yeah. So I have a quick, interesting story for you. Like the first time I ever pretty much kind of, I guess we would say produced and directed, it was out in LA. It was with Connor and
heck
Ember
yeah.
Snow. And well, these two are great performers and, veterans. And well, I was on set, kind of telling them, and they're like, what do you want us to do next? I'm like, I don't know. I figured you guys would know what to do. I just, it was something I wasn't used to, but the scene worked out great. Connor, a 45-minute actual scene, like everything edited, like he got it done in an hour, just bang, bang, bang. Just knew
Yeah.
exactly, like, a lot of you guys just know exactly what to do, and it's amazing. It's true talent.
That's the goal is like when you're there, it's never to be there for as long as you can be. It's like, okay, how can we make this as smooth as possible? And that's why I feel like I ask so many questions on set
Uh,
because I'm like, okay, what positions are we doing? How long are we in each position? Because that way it makes it so much easier for the person shooting and the person
yeah.
editing, where it's like, okay, I have like a mental clock and I can follow through on my mental clock and then be like, oh, we're supposed to be in this position now. And then we
Mhm.
can find a way to transition it without it having to be like, okay, let's cut. and then let's go to there and then like follow through like that. But when I write my scripts, I also write out typically like positioning, or I write out like lines, like
Yeah.
specific lines for them to say during sex and stuff like that. That way it kind of pulls everything together. So
Yeah.
I bet that was a fun experience though, like your first time really shooting something. That's so cool.
Oh yeah, and just I was amazed by Connor and Ember's talent. Like because I've seen people on set. I've had people on set that took 3 hours to shoot a BG scene. It's just
Yeah,
Connor obviously knows what the hell he's doing and he's great at it. And you had a talent like Ember Snow who also knew what to do. So it was pretty awesome. Yeah, it
that's
was a great
great. Honestly,
experience.
it's always better to work with veterans.
Oh yeah.
I shoot a lot. Like I've done a lot of shoots with like newer creators or producers and stuff like that, and they're always like, "Well, I don't know what you want me to. What do you want to do?" And I'm like, I'm shooting for you. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Okay, so that's also kind of where I pulled the what positions are we doing? How long is the video going to be kind
Uh-huh.
of thing? Because then it's like, okay, we can figure this out together, you know?
Yeah, because I mean, if you're booked for a BG scene and with the BG rate, I wouldn't expect you to be on set for more than hour and a half, maybe pushing two.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of working with a smaller producer or like a smaller company, it usually isn't too bad. I talk a lot, so that's what eats up a lot of my time is I'll
Uh-huh.
just sit and talk to everyone. Um, but I have had days where I'm on set and I'm shooting for 8 hours, and it's miserable.
Is
I
this
can't
just
lie.
one BG scene?
Yeah, or like group scenes and stuff like that
Okay.
tend to take a long time.
Yeah.
Um, it very much depends. Like I have had boy girl scenes that go for a while, whether it be a matter of like the guy I'm performing with is struggling or it takes them 45 minutes to come and then you're like, okay, another hour, like let's
But
go.
you're right. Another thing I don't think a lot of people know that are in the industry, like there's even the most professional stickmen, sometimes they're just not having the best day, right?
Yeah, I feel like there's no shame in having a bad day.
Yeah.
I feel like if if you're struggling getting hard or something like that, if maybe you're really hot, your medication isn't hitting the way it's supposed to, you
Yeah.
don't have what you need, like so maybe you have something mental going on, totally forgivable. To me, as a girl performer, like what isn't forgivable to me is if I shoot with you more than once and you have the same problem every time.
Yeah.
So like if I shoot with you more than once and more than once, I'm sitting and waiting on my knees for 45 minutes between you having a cold shower and drinking a gallon of water, and you still can't come. I'm going to get a little frustrated because it's like, it's okay if you can't perform, but like,
Uh,
don't. I feel like it's an issue for people to be in an industry where they're consistently failing. You know
yeah.
what I mean? And then it kind of comes onto us. It eats into our time. We're not getting
Yeah.
paid anything more to sit there and wait. And then it's like, okay, like I can only be so accommodating in the situation. And I don't fluff people. I don't like suck dick off camera. Like I don't do that. So I've had guys that are struggling ask me that, and I'm like, it is not my job to help you perform.
Yeah.
It's your job to perform, just like it's my job to perform. Like you're not paying me to suck your dick
Yeah.
off camera. Like you're not paying me at all. You know what I mean? So
Oh
it's kind
yeah.
of like I can't help you do what you need to do. You need to be able to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Um, and that's something that I've dealt with a lot with the people who are consistent strugglers. And I've like reached a point where I will never shoot with them again. And it's no like, it's no issue for who they are as a person and stuff
It's
like that.
nothing personal.
It's not. It's not. It's really just like it takes up entirely too much of my time. I've left with bruises on my knees waiting for so long that like I just don't want to live like that,
Yeah.
Like
It also kills
shooting
the
should be
vibe,
an
right?
enjoyable experience,
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of messes up the whole chemistry if you're just on your knees waiting. Like, come on, like
Oh my God. And then
I'm
they're
not trying to
like,
come off as a bitch, but come, I've been on my
no,
knees for the last,
serious.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, like I was on my knees once for so long that my legs went numb. And then when it was time to get up after I had been sweat on for so long,
Yeah.
and he consistently struggled to come, I had to pull my legs, like my
Uh,
feet from underneath me to let the blood flow back into my legs so I could stand up because I
yeah.
could not stand. And I was like, this is reaching a point where you probably need to consider a different career if you're like struggling this bad. Like I should not be suffering because you're struggling, you
Yeah.
know?
Hey, there's always the option for a fake pop. I mean,
And
you got to
that's
do what you got to do.
I have no issue ever with a fake pop, or if you want a fake cream pie it or whatever. Like if you know you're struggling, you know you're not going to be able to get there in a reasonable amount of time, and you're like, yeah, let's just do a fake pop. I love that. It shows you're considerate to me and my time
Yep.
and my energy being there and being in character and being on set. Like it's honestly a kindness to me when they know that they're struggling and they're like, we're going to fake it. We're going to do whatever. And I'm like, sick. I prefer working with those people than the people that are like, no, I've got it. And they don't.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have it, it's okay. Just don't waste. And it's not just my time, it's the director's time, it's
Yeah.
the compliance guy's time. And everybody has either family or friends or something to get back home to. So it's just kind of inconsiderate.
Yeah, well, even Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, Babe Ruth, everyone had a bad day, right? Even
Yeah,
even the biggest
100%.
legends. Yeah.
Yeah, bad days are okay. Bad days are reasonable. Like I've had bad days on set. I've started my period on set. That shit sucks.
Oh,
I
I
power through it.
bet.
I power through it. I'm gonna shoot anyways. I'll pop a sponge up there and make it work. But
Uh,
like it's very much like I don't know. Like I said, there's a difference in having a bad day and like struggling, and there's nothing wrong with that. And then there's a difference in consistently not being able to perform,
yeah.
and that's like where the line is for me, is if it's a consistent issue, you need to find a solution or be honest with yourself and just fake the pop.
Yeah, and there's also money being sunk into these shoots. So,
Yeah, a
it's kind
lot of
of
money.
yeah. Yeah, so if we're not getting up, like if we ask, let's just say Connor and you to shoot a scene for us, and well, Connor, not, I know he can do it because he shot many scenes for us, but let's just say he couldn't pop, and it's like, well, what are we gonna do? You know?
Yeah, well, and Connor would be the first one to be like, yeah, we'll fake it, we'll figure it out, you know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like
yeah,
we'll make something work. And it's
yeah,
like, yes, three cheers for you.
yeah. That's
Love
Connor,
it.
just a super chill guy, super respectful, super chill. Gotta
And
love
I
him.
feel like that's the way you should be as like a male performer. Is like very chill, very calm. You have your shit together. Everyone needs to be a joy to be around, especially in terms
Yes,
of like a situation where you're sharing your body. You know what I mean? Like
exactly. Yeah, I totally agree. So let's say you shot all week. Let's say you took 5 bookings Monday to Friday. I don't know if that really ever happens. For
it has
that.
it has in the past, yeah.
Okay, so it does happen. Well, let's say it happened this week, and today's Friday. What would you plan for the most epic weekend?
Oh man. I don't know. An epic weekend for me would probably be me like having my friends over,
Okay,
someone who loves me buying me pizza because food is very expensive.
and who
Um,
doesn't love pizza? I mean, come on.
I love pizza and I eat a lot, so I love to eat.
Uh-huh.
I'm a typical tourist. I love to eat and nap. But having my friends over for a smoke session, play some video games or like a movie marathon would be a super win for me. In terms of going out, like when I go out for music. So maybe catching a show or something at like a local rave would be cool. Love EDM music.
Oh, EDM,
Well,
huh?
EDM means electronic dance music, so that was a
Oh
little
yeah,
random,
I've
but
I've
yeah.
I've raved myself during my 20s. Trust me.
Love, love
If
raves.
you know, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just realized I said EDM music. I was like, that's redundant. That's like saying chai tea. But anyways,
Yeah.
but yeah, so love it. That would be like an epic weekend out for me. I mean, partially in, but like going out, love catching shows. And
Yeah.
being in Tampa, there's a lot of really good bass shows around here, so
Uh,
it's super easy to just wake up on a Friday and be like, "Yep, I'm doing this tonight."
yeah, I'm sure there's a lot to do in Tampa, right?
Um, yeah, if you drink.
If you
Like if
drink.
you Yeah, I don't really drink.
That's a
I
good
like
thing.
wine every now and then. I'm
Uh,
a smoker for sure. So I don't know. That's why I don't really go out because there's a lot to do. There's a lot of bars, cool
uh,
speakeasies, clubs, but it's just I don't know. Like if you're not drunk, you kind of notice that everybody's drunk and then it's a little boring.
oh yeah, the
You
worst
know?
thing that can ever happen is you're the sober one and everyone around you is drunk. It is the most annoying thing in the world.
Yeah, or you smoke before you go in somewhere and you realize everyone is like
Hyper
super
drunk and
drunk
you're
and you're
just
like
stoned and like, yeah,
you're
oh
like,
yeah.
"Oh, whoa, dude. I should not be here."
Oh yeah, I used to smoke back in the days. I don't anymore just because it's too damn strong nowadays, in my opinion.
Oh,
But I
yeah.
would I would walk into the club stoned out of my mind, and it's like I don't think this was the right decision.
Yeah, right. I definitely am feeling that now. I'm not a big drinker, and like I don't know. When I would drink, I was a day drinker, so I would go to like pools or like the beach or something and have some drinks, and then by the time I get home, it's like 7, 8 p.m. and I'm ready to go to sleep, you know?
Yeah.
So it's never anything like super crazy. I'm not like, let's go out all night.
Yeah.
You know,
Drink
like
till 5 in the
yeah.
morning. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no ragers over here for me.
So back to your career a little bit. So
Yeah.
is porn something you see doing in the far future, or you can't really see that quite yet? Because I mean, obviously we can't predict the future, right? But do you want to
Yeah.
keep doing porn up until you're 40 or maybe 50 or
I would like to perform as long as I can.
as long as I can?
I would like to work in porn in other ways. I like to write scripts. I'd like to continue doing that and hopefully getting to a point where, it's a decent little bit of side money. And then I've directed a couple scenes for some people that I know, and I would like to kind of get into that or maybe work on editing and stuff like that. So even if I'm not in front of a camera, I like to be on the other end in some way. I don't know, like, it feels very sexually freeing to know so many people are capable of like feeling empowered in a way and,
Yeah.
showing their body and like being able to perform and enjoying it and really like being happy with themselves makes me happy. So I would love to continue that in any way that I can, you know. So hopefully I'll be shooting for a while. I'll be performing for as long as I can, but otherwise I would love to help in however way I can in terms of like production.
Yeah, well, you have a great attitude, and I'm sure that, you'll be able to do whatever you want to do, either whether it be producing, directing, performing. I'm sure you have a bright future ahead of you.
Oh, thank you so much. I hope so, you know. You got to work hard every day towards it.
You
So,
do, you do. You have to work hard. Work harder than anyone else. Work as hard as you can, and you'll get to where you want to be. Trust me. So
heck yeah.
I know you just shared that you're not a drinker, but I do have a question here that I had written down
Ask
here. But let's say you're at the bar. Maybe
Okay.
you're not even drinking. And you're talking to some folks, you're talking to this chick, you share what you do, she finds out, whatever, and she says, "Well, what advice would you give me if I'm thinking about getting into porn?"
Be patient.
Be patient.
That is like the best piece of advice I can give anyone in this industry. Um, be patient. I have been shooting, I've been in front of a camera for a very long time, and as of a year and a half-ish ago, I'm like finally getting bigger scenes and stuff like that. And even then, it's not consistent. Like, you can be the greatest performer in the world, and if you're new, it's still going to take time.
Yeah.
So yeah, be patient, be kind to yourself, be aware and in tune with your body. I was super booked at the beginning of last year when I first started shooting, and my body forced me to take a break because I was shooting like literally as often as I could, sometimes 3 times a day. It was miserable. Not miserable as in I don't like it, but like miserable in terms of fatigue, like
Yeah.
physical fatigue. Um, and when you're going and going and going, and you're just so excited to be a part of everything and to do everything, your body will tell you that you need to take a break and it will shut down. Like, you
Yeah.
will need to sleep, you won't be able to work, and you'll slowly like you burnout is real, like in
Oh,
anything,
trust me. Yes, yes. Thank you
you
for sharing
know.
that because you are 100% correct. I know we love our jobs. We wake up super excited because I mean, let's be honest, this is somewhat a dream job, right? I mean, it's pretty
Yeah,
awesome if you ask me.
100%.
So it's like you're just so excited every day. You want to do this, you want to do that, you want to do this, you want to do that. And but your body's like, hey, we have a limit, you need to rest. If you need to take a break, slow down. Be patient. Thank you for sharing that because you're 100% correct on that. Be patient with trust the process.
Yes, yes. Sometimes there are people who have shot for 7 years, mainstream, having sex on camera, and they're finally reaching like where they want to be in terms of the industry. And I was actually reading about it on Twitter because some people that I follow or know or whatever were posting about it. And that is like the best piece of advice is be patient because even when I started shooting, um, I got I dealt with more problems in terms of people like smaller producers and things like that because of the way I valued myself for scenes. and what I wasn't willing to do. Where it's like, don't let people push you. Don't let people make you feel like you have to do something you don't want to do so you can
Yeah.
make money.
Yeah.
There's always going to be an opportunity for you, and if it's for you, it's not going to make you uncomfortable. Um, but also like give it time, like not everybody is going to want to work with you at your rate or at your convenience or within your boundaries when you're new, because a lot of people want you to like have a name behind your work.
Yeah.
And so that's something I'm very grateful I've been able to spend like the last year and a half building for myself, because that has been the largest benefit to me is just hustling. Like all of the work and small scenes, big scenes, everything that I did in between, all of the content I made in the last year and a half, I'm finally at a point where I'm like, okay, like people know my name. Like I have
Yeah.
friends who talk about me and they don't use my real name, so they use Bunny Fhae.
Uh-huh.
And so they'll talk about me and be like, "Oh yeah, like do you know of her?" And everybody that they talk to knows of me, which is surreal because I don't feel like I'm just a girl, you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
don't really feel like I'm anything super relevant to be like a recognized name for like regular people,
Yeah.
and so to know that and to reach that point, it's like, whoa, like hard work pays off.
It does.
It may suck in the beginning if you're not getting everything you want, but that's how life is. Like you have
Yeah.
to struggle a little so that you can appreciate your earnings,
I
like all
agree.
of the hard work that you put in, it
Yeah.
is for something for sure.
Absolutely true. I just love your mindset.
Thanks.
Amazing. So just a couple more things. So I
Yeah.
honestly, to get some new questions or whatnot, I went to ChatGPT. I said, "Hey, ChatGPT, what would you ask a porn star for an interview for a podcast, whatever?" Well, here's one last thing. Reverse interview. Let the star ask you one spicy question. So, Bunny, please ask me a spicy question.
Oh man. What is your favorite type of scene to perform? And what's your favorite position?
Well, my favorite position in my personal life would be doggy style. Type of
Love that.
scene would be Gonzo. I'd be patrolling for for just a hot model. Simple as that. I'm a simple guy.
Amazing.
So
I love that
so
though.
reality, right? Just I
Yeah.
guess, but
A
if
classic man. A
yeah,
classic
classic man. But
man.
if you think about it, if I was to really do that, just get in my car, drive the streets, and start hollering at every girl, I'd probably get arrested. So the
I mean, it depends on
reality,
where you're
and
doing
yeah,
it.
yeah. So thank you
Oh,
for asking me that question, Bunny.
yeah, of
So
course.
one
I got to
last
know a
thing.
little bit about you.
Yeah, why not, right? So where can all our listeners find your spicy content, and where can they connect with you, such as Instagram, X, wherever you're at?
All of my social media is at the Bunny Fhae. And that's my OF, my many vids. My Pornhub is Bunny Fhae. You can find a bunch of me there and on X videos. And then all of my social media. So Instagram, X, Reddit, like everything is under at the Bunny Fhae. I even have a TikTok where I post my cats. So if you want to check that out, you're more than welcome to. I also yap sometimes when I, feel up to it. But yeah, that's all the places to find me.
Well, TP fans, y'all heard it. Please show Bunny some love. Subscribe, follow, and Bunny, it's been an amazing 45 minutes. Great
Amazing.
attitude, great mindset. I look forward to seeing all your great content during your career. And again, thank you for spending your Friday night with us.
My God, thank you so much for having me again. This has been so great. I didn't even know so much time had passed. I've been having so much fun talking to you. So, oh, thank you so much for the opportunity. And I hope everyone watching has enjoyed this. But yeah, I appreciate
All
it.
right, Bunny, take care.
You too. Thank you.
Bye bye.